Salve deviatores, and welcome back to Let's Translate Eutropius Breviarium Historiae Romanae ab Urbe Condita. Last time, the son-in-law of Tarquinius caused enough of a fuss to necessitate the creation of the dictatorship, and the plebeians caused enough of a fuss to necessitate the creation of the tribunes of the plebs. We also went over what gerunds and gerundives are. This time we move forward to sequenti anno, the following year, Volsci contra Romanos bellum reparaverunt. So in the following year, and also just a little tidbit about sequenti, these are of course the ablative of time when, but sequenti is actually a sort of rarer form. It would normally be sequente, but apparently it's sequenti when it's purely used as an adjective. I just thought that was kind of neat. So the Volsci renewed war against the Romans. We've seen the Volsci before, and now they are back. Et victi acia etiam Coriolos civitatem, quam habebant optimam perdederunt, and defeated in battle. I believe this comes from acies. This is the ablative. They, third person, even, etiam's being used for even here, lost the city Corioli. And the Gutenberg notes recommend changing the word order here to optimum quam habebant. So the best which they had. In which case, I guess you could really change it to be this, because this would really be a relative clause. So, in the following year, the Volsci renewed war against the Romans, and defeated in battle, even lost the city Corioli, the best which they had. So the Volsci did so poorly in this war that they lost their greatest city. I don't know if it's actually their capital city, but their greatest city. Then moving forward, octavo decimo anno, postquam reges ejectierant, in the 18th year, after the kings were ejected or thrown out, expulsus ex orbe Quintus Marcius, dux Romanus, qui Coriolos ceperat, Volscorum civitatem. So let's just go to there for now. So Quintus Marcius was expelled from the city, meaning Rome, of course. Actually, wait. We should really do Quintus Marcius, general or leader, or the Roman general or leader, because this is an adjective, so not general of the Romans, but the Roman general, who captured, or had captured, it's pluperfect, Corioli, the city of the Volsci. Since this is in the genitive plural, this is city of the Volsci instead of like the Volscian city. At least more literally. I suppose you could still translate it that way, instead of like how it's the Roman leader or general instead of the general of the Romans. I just like to try to make that distinction. But you may recognize the word or the name Corioli, and that is because Quintus Marcius
is better known as Coriolanus. After he captured Corioli, he was given the cognomen Coriolanus. And I'd say he's probably most well known because of the Shakespeare play. There's a whole tragedy about him. And why there's a tragedy about him, I don't know. I don't really know why Shakespeare chose this guy. Later on, we might see a good reason why. But, yeah. I just don't like this guy. Because you want to know why he was expelled? It's because... So, there was a famine going on in Rome. And the consuls had a bunch of people sent out throughout Italy to buy as much food as they could and bring it back to Rome. And the Senate was trying to be like, okay, so how much do we price this grain for the plebeians? And Quintus Marcius, or he's also called Gaius Marcius or Gnaeus Marcius, I don't know which one's his real name, and honestly, Eutropius is the only one who really calls him Quintus, but whatever. But he argues that the plebeians, if they want the normal price for grain, they should just give up their newly adopted tribunes. There should be no more tribunes for the plebs, even though they just got them, and they are the only things really giving the plebeians rights right now. So, screw this guy. But when he made his big argument, in fact, let's just read what Livy says. If, he argued, they want their corn at the old price, let them restore to the Senate its old powers. Why then do I, after being sent under the yoke, ransomed as it were from brigands, see plebeian magistrates? Why do I see a Sicinius in power? He was one of the tribunes at the time. Am I to endure these indignities a moment longer than I can help? Am I, who could not put up with a Tarquin as king, to put up with a Sicinius? Am I, who could not put up with a Tarquin as king, to put up with a Sicinius? Let him secede now. Let him call out his plebeians. The way lies open to the sacred hill and to other hills. Let them carry off the corn from our fields as they did 2 years ago. Let them enjoy the scarcity which in their madness they have produced. I will venture to say that after they have been tamed by these sufferings, they will rather work as laborers themselves in the fields than prevent their being cultivated by an armed secession. So Quintus made that argument against the tribunes and really the plebeians as a whole, and this being so soon after the plebeians just went off to the Sacred Hill, the Senate and the other patricians were just like, we cannot handle this. We cannot piss off the plebeians right now. And the plebeians were thoroughly pissed off already at Quintus Marcius. I should call him Coriolanus at this point. They were already thoroughly pissed off at Coriolanus. So they opted to expel him instead of trying to take back the powers they had ceded to the tribunes of the plebs. Which, good on the Senate, bad on Coriolanus. He's a jerk. But after he was expelled, ad ipsos Volscos contendent. Eratos et auxilia contra Romanos accepit. He, irate or furious, hurried to, or maybe just brought himself to, those Volsci and accepted aid against the Romans. Now, I will be honest, I don't know that much about Coriolanus. I never really learned about his story before reading this. I never read the Shakespeare play. I don't know if he's portrayed in a positive light or not most of the time, but I hope he's not, because this guy's just bad. I he better not be shown in the Shakespeare play as like a tragic hero, because he's just attacking Rome, and in fact, he at least did well in it, I suppose. But either way, let's just continue. Romano Saipe Wicket. He defeated often the Romans, or he defeated the Romans often, I should say. And that's better word order for English. Usque ad quintum miliarium orbis accessit. So he often defeated the Romans, and he advanced, accessit, advanced, up to, or like, yeah, up to, and to, but then just sort of combined usque and ad, up to the 5th milestone of the city. He was 5 miles from the city, and oppugnanturus etiam patriam suam. So oppugnanturus is this is a future active participle, if I recall correctly. And it's best to wait on this, actually, just to see if there's another word later on. Legatis, qui pacem petebant, repudiatis, nisi, that's the word we were looking for, ad eo mater veturia, et uxor volumnia. We'll take care of that later. But nisi is unless or if not. The future active participle here, especially with it, is oftentimes used for a condition. So if this would happen, then this would happen. Well, yeah, if this would happen, then this would happen. But this is a negative, so if this did not happen, this would happen. Except we're sort of going in the reverse order. So he would etiam even, once again it's even here, he would even besiege his fatherland or father city, either one. Legatis repudiatis are agreeing together, and I believe this is an ablative absolute. Having rejected the envoys who begged for peace, or asked for peace, unless his mother, Veturia, and wife, Volumnia, ex orbe veniscent, had come from the city to him. Or, actually, I think it would be best if not. So he would have besieged his fatherland if his mother Veturia and wife Volumnia did not come from the city to him. Yeah, that makes more sense. Quarum fletu et deprecatione. Yeah, I think this is the whole relative clause here. Superatus removit exercitum. I believe it's best to translate this like, so fletu et deprecatione are ablatives, and I think this is ablative of means here, by quarum whose, that's genitive plural, so whose, fletu crying, and deprecatione is like prayers, I think? Yeah, I think prayers. Oh, right. Superatus is overwhelmed. So overwhelmed by the by whose crying and prayers, he removed the army. So he only left Rome alone. He didn't actually attack Rome, the city itself, but only because his mother and wife were like, please don't. So going over the full sentence, which, actually, yeah, this is a long one. Romanos saepe vicit. Often he defeated the Romans. Usque ad quinto miliarium orbis accessit. He advanced up to the 5th milestone of the city, or up to 5 miles from the city, you could say. He even would have besieged his own fatherland after rejecting, or having rejected, the envoys who asked for peace. If his mother Vittoria and wife Volumnia did not come from the city to him, overwhelmed by the crying and prayers, or crying and praying, I suppose, by whose crying and praying, he removed his army. And now this is probably why he is actually focused on a decent bit. This is probably the only reason why he's actually like, or this next sentence highlights why he might have been an interest of Shakespeare. Atque hic secundus post Tarquinium fuit, qui dux contra patriam suam esset. And I believe that last bit is all the relative clause. So, and here was the... No, wait, this is hic. This is hic, not hic. So this man, right? Okay, so the Gutenberg text puts it as hic. Well, I guess both work. I could see it as both, because it's either and this man was the second after Tarquinius, or and here was the second after Tarquinius, or like second man, person, whatever. So either one could work, and I think I will actually stick with the Gutenberg text having it as hic instead of hic. So, and here was the second man after Tarquinius, who was a general against his fatherland. I suppose, dude. But, man! I actually love his highlighting here. His highlighting of, and this is the second guy to attack Rome. Because remember, Eutropius is in the 4th century CE. So he has hindsight of all of the civil war that's going to go on. You've got the late Republic. You've also got the crisis of the 3rd century, including the year of 4 emperors. So I just think it's fun that he's keeping count. And honestly, maybe we should keep count too. Let's keep count of how many Romans attack Rome. That would be fun. So at this point, it's just 2, but get ready for that number to get very large. But either way, let us move on to the Latin reading and the English reading.
Sequenti anno, Volsci contra Romanos bellum reparerunt, et victi acie, etiam Coriolos civitatem quam habebant optimam perdiderunt. 8º anno post quam reges ejecti erant, expulsos ex orbe Quintus Marcius dux Romanus qui Coriolos ceperat, Volscorum civitatem, ad ipsos Volscos contendenteratos, et auxilia contra Romanos accepit. Romanos saepe vicit, usque ad quintum miliarium orbes accessit, oppugnatorus etiam patriam suam. Legatis qui pacem petebant repudiatis, nisi ad eum mater veturia et uxor volumnia ex urbe venissent. Quarum fletu et depercatione superatus removit exercitum. Atque hic
secundus post Tarquinium fuit, qui dux contra patriam suam esset.
In the following year, the Volsci renewed war against the Romans, and defeated in battle, they even lost the city Coriolani, the best city which they had. In the 18th year after the kings were removed, Quintus Marcius, the Roman general who had captured Coriolani, the city of the Volsci, was expelled from the city. Furious, he brought himself to those Volsci and accepted their aid against the Romans. He defeated the Romans often. He advanced up to the 5th milestone of the city. He would have even besieged his own fatherland, having rejected envoys who asked for peace, if his mother Veturia and wife Volumnia had not come out from the city to him, overwhelmed by whose cries and prayers he removed his army. And here was the second man after Tarquinius who was a general against his own fatherland. Until next time, where we meet one of the most famous figures of Roman history, Lucius Quinctius Cincinnatus. Valete, viatores.